is Theater Talk with Taylor and Tyler. We are so glad to bring this to you on this Friday morning. Strauss Main Stage's production, Who's in Bed with the Butler, is a comedic play by Michael Parker. It's a funny look at the complicated love life of a butler named Clifton.
Yeah, so an elderly billionaire dies and then he leaves his estate to 3 separate women, but his daughter decides to contest that will, and that's when things go a little haywire.
Yes, and of course, hearing just a brief synopsis of the play, it already sounds like it's a slapstick comedy, an average comedy, but we did have a chance to catch it with the director, and she says that this show has a message that relates to everyone at home. Here's what she had to say.
You know, it's always the wrong people at the wrong places at the wrong times, in the wrong positions. Somebody walks in a door and suddenly the next thing you know, they're on the floor.
All right, so the message of this show clearly is universal. Everybody has had a day where they just can't seem to have a break.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, everything is just kind of going wrong, and this is kind of an over-the-top, huge version of just those bad days that we all run into, you know, where you just can't catch a break.
Yes, and of course, speaking of breaks, we had a chance to talk to one of the characters of the show who is sort of the comedic relief in the show. His name is Glenn Williams, and he says that he almost broke a leg literally in the show. Here's why.
I get knocked out a lot and knocked unconscious, hit by doors. I take a lot of abuse for this role, so hopefully the audience will enjoy that.
All right, so this is clearly a physically challenging show, at least for Glenn there, and this is also some very real acting challenges for the other actors in the show as well, including one of the young ladies. Her name is
Taylor Nelson. Yeah.
Yes, the lady that you're actually looking on the screen there. She is playing 3 different characters with 3 completely different accents, and here's what she had to say about playing such a challenging role.
So one of them is an American woman, one is a British woman, and one is a French woman. And towards the end, I find myself forgetting which character I am. So like I'll slip into like a British accent when I'm supposed to be like a Cali girl or something like that. So that's probably been the most challenging for sure.
Yeah, so Nelson says the fast costume changes and nailing all those accents, I mean, that's obviously going to be the biggest challenge here, to separate all 3 of those characters. And that's really the key in a fast-paced show like this, is having those definitive breaks between characters and keeping the energy up and just everything moving at such a fast speed.
Yes, something that's very funny about these 3 characters that she's playing is that they're all related, or that they're all romantically involved with the butler.
Yeah.
And we had a chance to talk to him. He's the star of the show. He's caught in the middle of this love triangle, and though it may seem like he's trying to fool them, he says he has the right intentions. Here's what he...
Clifton is the kind of character that really wants to make everyone happy, and to do that sometimes he has to change a little bit, and what he learns throughout this play is kind of how to just be himself and be authentic and be honest, and when that happens, we see him as kind of a hero at the end of the play.
I mean, even in just the brief bit of rehearsal that we were able to take in, I mean, Sheridan shows that this show is not only challenging, but they are pulling it off so flawlessly. I mean, the comedy is just so easy for them. You'd feel like these people had really known each other for their entire lives.
Absolutely. The chemistry is absolutely amazing. As you say, they were just rehearsing on the set last week, and they seem to already be gelling very well together. So
yeah.
He did say that this is the most challenging role that he's had, and even though he's not playing 3 different characters, he's having to be all kinds of different people for different people in the show.
Yeah, and I mean, even in just maybe the first 10-15 minutes or so that we were able to observe there, I mean, so many things were happening. I mean, you have action sequences, you have funny sequences, you have people doing accents and all kinds of costumes. I mean, there's absolutely something to look at in every corner of the stage, and it's very impressive.
Yes, and not even just on stage, behind the stage as well. We were backstage getting you know, shots of them still learning their lines and getting ready to go on stage, and with all the costume changes, and even with all of the pressure, they were still backstage joking and laughing and keeping things very light, which I think is going to be very important for a show like this.
And this is kind of one of those shows that's reminiscent of those slapstick, you know, Steve Martin, Pink Panther movies that you watched growing up, you know, with your parents and stuff. It's just good, fun comedy that everyone is going to laugh at no matter what.
Yes, and it has a message at the same time, which is why everybody should go out and support. It did kick off the first performance yesterday with the patron night. Yes, but the first official performance will actually be tonight, heading into this weekend and next. There's all the information on your screen. Strauss Youth Academy, or Strauss Theater, excuse me, is located on Lammy Lane. And for tickets and more information, you can call the number right there on the bottom of your screen.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a performance you're not going to want to miss, and luckily you have quite a few opportunities in the next 2 weeks to check it out, so we definitely recommend it.
That's right.